Hey, Rob, guess what?
What?
My birthday's in 10 days.
Yes, you have a birthday coming up. Did you figure out what you're going to do?
Yeah, sorta. Ooh, I found that rice. It doesn't really matter to anybody who's listening. So, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to get drunk as fuck.
Okay.
Welcome back to Bitch, I Ain't Scared.
Welcome back, Fearlings.
It's Nate the Fool.
Rob the Scholar.
We are in March, and as always, we got some things for you to, wet your palate.
Yeah, there is a month full of horror going on screen, on the big screen and the little screen and everything in between. So, yes, lots to talk about. But we should, talk about what happened last night.
About last night.
Yeah, hopefully you horror fans are also movie fans across the board and checked out the Oscars. And,
or at least the results.
Yeah. And our genre kind of won some stuff.
Not kinda. It definitely won some stuff. It won some big stuff.
Yeah. I just wanted Get Out to win more.
Yes.
But I was very, very happy because if it was going to win at least one, that is the one that I wanted it to take home. And that was original screenplay.
I wouldn't have minded if he had gotten director too, because we kind of wanted him to get up and do another speech. But Guillermo was definitely second choice, so it worked out.
Yes, congrats to Get Out. Congrats to Shape of Water for winning 4 awards, including Best Director and Picture.
Yeah.
I think it's really good for the fantasy side of it and also the horror side of it. A monster movie can whoop anybody's ass at this point, and I'm just happy that people are acknowledging that horror movies can tell a very good story. So, got to give it to him. This is what's funny. So, did you watch last year's Oscars?
I did watch last year's.
So, you know how they made the mistake of reading the wrong card.
I saw that they were like advertising with Jimmy Kimmel, and he was like, the right results or whatever it was.
So, this is what was hilarious is they brought back Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway to do Best Picture again.
No.
It was the funniest thing because they walk out and it's just as normal as ever, but that audience was just like, oh, here we go. And he was like, thank you. I'm surprised I'm here tonight. It was so funny. But, they take their time and they read it, and Guillermo goes up there, but before he took the mic, he looked at the card. And there's like pictures of it everywhere showing that he looked at it first. I don't blame him. But I mean, they made I think 2 jokes regarding last year. Because, they had to.
They had to.
Yeah.
It's never happened before.
Exactly. So, they assured that. But
I wanted to share this. I thought it was funny. This is from Tumblr. They Call Me Jane wrote, "A film about a fucking fish man has won the Oscar for Best Picture as well as for directing. You can do anything. Live your dream. Do whatever. Anything is possible." And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly. But I mean, of course, he didn't win because it was about a fish and a woman having sex.
No, it's a very minor detail.
Yeah, there's tons more with it. And honestly, I think there are some movies that came out in the 80s that had some heavy-ass commentary that probably would have won today because of what's going on. And there's always a story in there. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the other thing, too. It's like if you haven't seen Shape of Water, this movie's not even that gory. I mean, yes, there's some bloody parts.
Like very cringe-worthy parts.
But I wouldn't say that this is like a full-blown horror movie, like, oh, it's going to scare me and distract me from what's really going on. This movie is not like that at all. And the same to say for Get Out,
I was going to say that too, yeah.
Get Out is not like a huge, blown-out like horror film where you're scared every minute. It's a very suspenseful thriller, but, I mean, you guys can praise Hannibal Lecter for eating people all you want. There are other movies and characters out there that deserve, like a nomination. So, like, Get Out's not even that bad. So, yeah, if you haven't seen them and it's because you think it's, like, too scary, and I'm hoping that there are horror fans who are listening who probably don't want to watch it for that reason, you should check it out. I think you would enjoy the movie for its content or message rather than the scares and the cheap thrills or whatever. But yeah, congrats to them. And I did fumble on the whole birthday thing.
Yeah.
I did want to say happy birthday to James Wan. I'm super late, but yeah, his birthday was on the 27th.
We love you.
We love you. We definitely love you. It's just for some, I got my weeks all messed up.
We put you on the calendar a long time ago.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
But yes, I just want to say I didn't forget.
It's my fault. I didn't look at the calendar either. I just was like, whatever, do whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so
is there a birthday this week?
Huh? I don't think so.
From today until next Sunday?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of birthdays. We just are not really like aware of them at the moment. So happy birthday to all you horror hounds, whatever.
Yeah.
Still Pisces month, still Pisces season. So, I shouldn't say month. It'll be over on the 21st or something. But anyway, yeah, it's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Do you have anything else? Did you see anything horrific since last week that you want to talk about?
Yeah, but yeah, I'll talk about it. I didn't finish it. Otherwise, I was thinking about nominating it.
Okay.
But I still had like 30 minutes left. This movie's long as fuck. So I finally watched Train to Busan.
Oh.
And I got 3/4 of the way through. It's a 2-hour movie. It's top notch.
It is fucking top notch.
But yeah, those last 30 minutes, I just was like, I gotta go. I gotta go record with Rob. So.
Oh, you were watching it at home? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I have enough time, but then I didn't start when I should have, and then I cut Brandy's hair and blah blah blah.
So where did you leave off?
I left off where they get to some station and the track is blocked.
Oh, that is the. Oh,
so they're
gonna
have to get off. But so I will say this: I don't think I've ever watched a horror film, and I'm trying to even think. Did I watch Get Out and get emotional? I definitely got emotional, but I don't think I shed a tear. I don't think I did. No. You know what? I remember getting kind of like misty when I was watching Get Out because there was a lot of things happening that was like, oh, this is very emotional. But yeah, I shed a tear today. So
you'll understand my reaction because you literally stopped at the pivotal part. Like everything happens in those last 30 minutes.
I mean, a lot of shit has already happened. Yeah. Like when, Homeboy died, I was like, that's when I cried. I was like, oh my God.
So that's the thing.
He's leaving his pregnant wife and, these two guys have kind of been butting heads, but now, it was just really sad.
I told you when we talked about it, a long time ago, that movie gives you every emotion you can think of. And, it sucks because you were in the zone watching this film. So I hope that you go into that escapism when you watch the rest of the film, because I blubbered cried by the end of that movie.
Oh no.
So I think but as the thing, I mean, you'll enjoy this film, I'm telling you. And for a horror film to do that,
they were definitely stacking up, because even towards the beginning when he gets the phone call from his mother and she's like, I love you. Yeah. And I was like, this is terrible.
I'm glad you watched that.
So another thing I would like to say, this would have been a really great movie for us to have referenced last week if I had watched it when we were talking about monsters within the movie. So so I'm still at that point where they revealed that fucking guy is still alive, and I was like,
oh my God, he is the worst.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And Brandy's like, what? She's in the kitchen cooking. And I was like, this bastard is still alive.
He was a piece of work, wasn't he?
So that's like a monster. Aside from everything that's going on, he is the worst. So I'm like, I need him to get eaten soon. But we've also talked about this during our Black Lives Matter episode, how when people watch films that feature people who don't look like them, they can't relate. This movie is from South Korea. They are speaking Korean. I don't understand what they're saying. I have to read the subtitles, which does not bother me at all. I am obviously still sitting here and feeling a lot of emotion for this group of people. Not one of them looks like me. They don't need to. Yeah. You can still have a human experience with people who you don't really share anything with besides the fact that you are humans. They live on the other side of the world, and they're going through this horrific experience. And I think that it's sad. There's this part of society that feels like, oh, they can't relate to movies unless they look exactly like me. And I'm only specifically referencing white people, because everyone else, at least in America, they have to watch movies that feature characters who don't look like them. There are these stories out there that are told beautifully, and it's a shame that people are not willing to experience them because they don't want to read subtitles, or because they think they can't relate because it's from South Korea or South Africa. Well, that's not a good example. Not today.
Yeah.
Or just from any part of the world. So I hope that changes soon. I mean, like we just said, a movie about a fucking fish man just won an Oscar. So it's like, what else do you need to see?
Yeah. So. Exactly. Yeah, this movie had a lot of character development. You definitely were rooting for these people to get out alive, and we only got mere minutes to get to know them, and it was just the chemistry and the way that they worked together or didn't work together that invoked so much emotion. And to do that in this such a high-powered zombie film that just didn't let you breathe 1 minute, they still managed to put those characters and give you reasons to root for them. And I just thought that was so impressive. So I'm glad you checked it out, and I can't wait to hear what you think of the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So real briefly, I'll just say that I watched Mom and Dad with Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair. And of course the concept just I was excited to see how this was going to play out, and I found it really interesting. What I'll say is that there is definitely a lack of character development and story behind this. You may not even care one bit about these people. Having said that, I think the curiosity of what is causing this specific dilemma of not only having these adults go after kids, but to only go after their own kids.
Oh, I see.
So it's very specific, but it hits almost every parent in this movie, or the ones who have parents. Not every adult is in tune with this. It's only the ones that have kids. And it's a horror comedy, but it's not funny.
Oh no.
But the other thing is that when I say horror comedy, expect over the top characters that kind of exist, and then they take it up a notch. So you're dealing with a very snobbish town. These people are kind of rich. I won't dive in too much into it, but again, it's just kind of over the top. Things are being done that you probably wouldn't see in just a run-of-the-mill movie, but they amplify it because it's a horror comedy. So a lot of antics and behavior is just kind of like thrown in there. But I will say, when the shit hits the fan, it's entertaining. And they did mention a theory as to why everything was going down, but they don't spend too much on it. Think World War Z in a way of how they were reacting. So like the zombies, how quick they were, how fast they were and just kind of, but it was like the crazies. They still had coherent thought. They were still talking to one another. They were normal human beings. They just had rage to kill their own kid. That's basically what it was. Obviously, this is like the best movie for Nicolas Cage because he gets to do what he does best, which is be himself. And I think he even went on record and said this was like one of his favorite films he's ever made. So, I would give it a little bit of a half and half. I mean, I was entertained. There were some gross shit going down when they took some of these kids out.
They killed some of the kids?
It was disgusting. They didn't show it.
Were these like little kids or teenagers?
All of it. And all of it. But obviously, the younger they were, the less it was off camera. But the implication was gory too. It was
my goodness.
Yeah, they went all out. So I praise them for that. But yeah, Mom and Dad, check it out. It's out now. But yeah, I thought that was a fun movie.
All right. Oh, and an honorable mention. Apparently, there's a Shape of Water sex toy out there, and Guillermo del Toro is not pleased. But I saw a picture of it. It's so stupid.
What does it look like? I want to hear you describe it to me. I think that would be better than me actually looking at it.
Well, it kind of looks like fancy, like mystical stores, and they have those specialty candles off to the side, and they're like wavy and like multicolored.
Okay, yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Oh God!
But it's like, you know, it looks like it's attached to the fish man, so it's like grayish, but with like this weird like green color, and it's like sort of wavy. And then at the bottom, like, you know, when he like would start
scaling and
glowing
stuff,
blue. So at the bottom, there's like, I don't know if you like turn the light out, will you see the base? But the base of it is like blue.
Crazy.
So, you know, like when she went,
yeah.
that's where that was.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie created some fetish. I know it'll exist. We'll even see a porn parody of it, I'm sure, one day too.
Oh, I'm sure there's already one.
Exactly.
Like cut and ready to go.
So definitely let us know what you think of that last bit.
I will. I mean, I'm pretty much already like, this is a fantastic movie. I just have to finish it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be like, I'm nominating this, and how does it end? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know.
So, let's talk some horror movies in March. I'll briefly go through what we got on Netflix.
What's coming out on my birthday? I'm just kidding. There's nothing coming out on my birthday.
I was going to say, something coming
Thursday.
out, that would be awesome.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it would have to be that Friday. So, but...
I mean, when does VOD shit come out? I don't know.
Yeah, VOD. Okay, here. So, for Netflix, if you like them, you've got The Gift with Cate Blanchett. That should be on Netflix right now, as well as The Experiment. Now, there are 3 different versions of this movie. The one I'm talking about is the 2010 version with Adrian Brody and Forrest Whitaker. Yes, that's the one. So it was the first U.S. remake of the German film, and they call it The Experiment. Have you heard of this? It was a true story about the prison experiment.
Oh.
Where they got people to volunteer and they split them up into guards and
there was like
prisoners.
College students.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's based on a true thing.
Yeah, but this one was grown people. Yeah, this was...
so this was a different... Okay,
yeah,
okay.
This is Forrest Whitaker and Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody plays the prisoner who's kind of like the focus we walk through, and then Forrest Whitaker is the man who is known for being sort of a pushover. But then given the role as a guard, he takes it a little bit too far with the power hungry, and it just escalates. Have you seen any versions of this movie?
Nope.
You should check it out. It's pretty good. The latest version that came out actually was not a period piece, but I mean, it took place exactly where the experiment happened, but it was still U.S. So I think it was in the 60s or 70s.
So that's the one with the college students.
Yes, that's the one with the college students. The German one was just, I think they were college, but yeah. It's pretty good, but the Adrian Brody one, yeah, that's the one that's on Netflix now.
All right.
Also, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, as well as Descent 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen part 2, this is your chance to watch it, because I know everybody saw the first one.
I don't know. I don't know.
And then there is this movie that's been getting a little bit of buzz that I've noticed, called Ravenous. So this is a Quebec film. So this is French subtitled, but it's filmed in Canada, and it's basically a zombie Canadian horror. Mm-hmm. But I think the way that it's filmed and some of the story, it just stands out a little bit. I'm feeling it from the trailer.
It looked good. It did look decent. I mean, it definitely reminded me of other movies that we have seen. It reminded me of The Body Snatchers.
Yes.
You know, World War Z, even watching Train to Busan, it kind of reminds me of that. But there's something different going on. I can tell, like whatever that thing was, that like whatever's going on. And then, but then it also reminds me of the girl with all the gifts.
Yeah.
But still, it looked good.
The other one that sort of came out that's standing out in March for Netflix is Veronica. Now, this is a Spanish horror. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, I just saw today. Okay. I didn't check it out, but I was like, oh, that looks...
This movie looks super good. Now, this one is, sort of the paranormal, Ouija, conjuring, demons, and
Oh,
shite.
hell.
I think it's just the way that it was filmed is what I like about it. So basically, it's a Spanish language horror movie from the director of Rec. And we all praise that, exactly. And then it's about a young woman who tries to contact her dead father during a solar eclipse.
Nope.
But instead of the dad, the Ouija board unleashes a shadowy lizard-like figure, a demon that begins stalking her younger siblings. Now, I watched the trailer, and yeah, she goes all in trying to protect those kids. So I'm super excited for this one, and I hope to watch at least one of these by next week so I can talk about them. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. Other ones, this one I've seen. It came out a while ago, but it's actually on Netflix now. It's an Eli Roth film, Aftershock.
Oh, I've heard of this, yeah.
I like Aftershock. The characters were simplistic, but I think the stakes were super high with this one, and it could really happen, which is what I really liked about it. I can't remember exactly where. Oh, Chile. It took place in Chile, and there was a huge earthquake. And you think the earthquake would be the villain, but no, it's actually these prisoners, these insane people who escaped from their asylum because of the earthquake. And so they just have to deal with all of these maniac people running around killing folks, as well as the aftershock of the earthquake. That was fun. I like the film. I think it's for Netflix now that it's on there. I think it's worth a watch.
It's a good combination.
Yeah. So that's out on the 7th. So I think when we post this, it'll be out. So definitely check that out. And then the last one that kind of caught my eye, as far as Netflix, is The Titan. Now, Sam Worthington of Avatar fame is sort of doing it again. It's very similar to Avatar. So basically, it's in the near future. The military is trying to figure out a way to relocate to a different planet, but they need to figure out if humans can be on it. So what they do is they participate in this experiment of changing the genetics of man so we can adapt to the surroundings of a new planet. So they experiment on this kid, and he slowly starts turning alien. And I think the makeup, if you were to watch this trailer, the makeup I think is really nice. And obviously they want to tear him down and put him out because he's turning into something that's no longer human anymore, and they don't want it to spread or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of like Girls with All the Gifts as well. But yeah, it has that Avatar sort of thing, and Sam Worthington is a part of that.
Okay.
So that's out on the 30th. So at the end of the month, that's when they'll release that. But I thought it was a nice trailer.
Cool.
Now let's get to some VOD and theatricals. The Strangers sequel, Pray at Night, March 9th.
I wasn't going to watch the movie, I don't think, but I do regret watching that trailer because
I
like
know.
the curiosity I had, I was like, oh, you just really had to do that, didn't you?
Yeah.
You just had to like show some of your really good golden eggs. I don't know why they do that. But
So this, to me, I'm a little bit skeptical about because I really, really enjoyed the first one.
I did not.
And it's hard to replicate something like that. At this point, for a sequel, what I think I want to see is just the progression as to how far these killers are willing to go or trying to achieve in their activities, right?
I can't believe it's been 10 years.
I know. They waited a while for this one.
It's crazy.
But my thing is watching this trailer, it follows under that sequel trope of let's just do more. Let's take this exciting, cool concept and just give you more kills, more body count. That's apparently what was missing from the first one, which is ridiculous. But that's what scares me about this movie. It's going to lose its edge if they're just going to constantly just go out and killing people like a slasher film. There was something very intimate about the first one and a little bit personal, even though they didn't even know them. It just like they could have easily moved on to a different house. No, they stuck with them and they fucked with them. And in this one, this trailer at least just made it seem like, oh, we're just going to kill people. And it's going to be filled with a lot of dumb characters that I don't really care for. I don't know. It just,
I didn't get that vibe. That's so weird.
Yeah.
It looked like they were targeting one family.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. For some reason, I feel there's going to be a lot of innocent bystanders along the way.
They're all innocent.
No, but I mean, innocent, what I mean is that they're not targeted. Like, I think they're just going to get in the way from their target, which is the family, is what I mean.
I mean, yeah, it definitely looked like there was an empty cop car. So, what happened to the cop?
But I'm still going to go, and I'll probably still get freaked out, but yeah.
You have fun. I like their masks, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And also, stop saying that shit is based on a true story when it's not. It's not based on true events. It is inspired by something that happened.
Yeah,
okay?
there is a difference.
It's not, like, the original was more so, sort of along the lines. I mean, at least there was like 3 victims in the actual event that happened, but it's like, stop.
Let's see. Oh yeah, also going to theaters, which might be a little limited, but I'm not sure, just depending on where you live. Steven Soderbergh is tackling this thriller genre with Unsane, about a woman who involuntarily commits herself to an asylum, but then once she's in there, they start slowly convincing her that she needs to be in there. And she obviously can't leave for, obvious circumstances. They're trying to convince her that she's crazy, and she knows in her mind she's not. But is she delusional? Is everything real? I think the trailer gave off a very big curiosity that I'm curious to see. And the fact that it's done by Soderbergh actually makes me more intrigued too.
What else has he done?
So he is the one who did... why am I drawing a blank on Steven Soderbergh right now?
I mean, I can just look it up, Rob, I guess.
Yes, but I mean, he's done some big stuff. Like, the latest movie he did was Logan Lucky with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. It was a heist film. Had dude who plays Bond.
I know the name, but I haven't seen it.
And then he did Magic Mike, if that gives you any kind of...
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's so funny. I must be like a broken gay. I didn't really watch the whole Magic Mike thing.
But he did like Traffic, which is the closest to a thriller, I guess. Which won awards, of course.
Okay.
Aaron Brockovich.
I mean, it's like, I know his name. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
I don't know. It just threw a blank for me. But yeah, because I know he's not known for like the thrillers and the horrors and stuff. So I'm curious. Curious. And then when it comes to like video on demand, we talked about this a couple months ago. We don't really see too many New Year's Eve horror movies. Well, they have one that takes place on New Year's Eve. It's called Midnighters, and it's directed by Julius Ramsay. It should be out now. It's just about a couple who hits a bystander on the road, and they take the body to where they were headed to, and they try and cover it up. But there's more to meets the eye to this, is that it may not be so random, because as they have possession of the body, they find out that the guy was actually on his way to where they were going. So he had something to do with this couple. We don't know what, and cue the mystery.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite understand that from the trailer.
Yeah,
so
they pull out some kind of thing out of his pocket, and they see an address written on it, and he was like, "Oh, he was headed here."
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that. So I was like, this is so vague. Like, the guy shows up, and it's like, okay, well, he's creepy, but I don't get it. All right.
Yeah, but the movie also kind of brings up how this whole thing about who can you trust, because as paranoia sits in and can you keep a secret, yada yada, they obviously start turning on each other, or who knows. But I'm curious. I'm gonna check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I would bring up, if you are still a big fan of clown movies, there's this movie called The Terrifier. The preview didn't really give a good example of what to look forward to. It was edited poorly, but what I think you would gather from this trailer is the clown that they have is super creepy as fuck. If I were to see this dude on the street, I'm moving. Like, putting in my 30 days. Hell, I'll even pay the fee to break the contract. I'm not trying to kick it in the same neighborhood as this dude. Check out the trailer if you decide to look at it. It comes out March 27th, directed by Damien Leone, if anybody knows who that is.
I learned something new about clowns recently.
What?
Did I ever tell you? I made a joke to Nagar at work one day because she asked me what white elephant was for Christmas, and I said, "Oh, it's probably something racist." Everything has racist roots if you dig deep enough. Yeah, clowns are racist. It's based on like the old imagery, like it's like the minstrel show. That's where it comes from.
Oh no, I've never.
It's
heard
just
of that.
that instead of doing blackface, they switched it to whiteface, and that was the only change.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I learned that at camp a couple weeks ago.
Pork.
Thanks, Carly.
And then there is a DVD release of Shape of Water on March 13th. And then I believe out on the 6th is this movie called The Sandman, starring Haley Duff.
Sorry.
And Tobin Bell. Directed by Peter Sullivan. It's common tale of a little kid who can manifest monsters, and in this case,
I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
every
in this
day.
case, it's the Sandman. But I think it's the kid. Anytime he gets angry, that's when it manifests.
Or she gets
itself.
scared.
She gets scared or something. And Before I Wake is very similar to this.
Oh yeah, I watched the trailer for that today too.
Yeah, very similar. Really good movie. Check that out too.
Okay. Yeah, it looked interesting. Yeah, Haley Duff was acting for her life in that trailer.
Yes, she was.
I was like, okay, Haley, I haven't seen you ever, but I know that you're a person, and I see you're doing stuff. So good for you.
There's this other one called Pie Wacket. Interesting name. It's by IFC Midnight, so they dabble into and the Midnighters is also IFC. This
right.
girl, I think if I remember correctly, she tries to use the occult to kill her mother. She doesn't like her mother. She used the occult to do it, and apparently instead of like taking her life, I think it may possess her.
Nice.
Because the mom starts going apeshit crazy, and she looks like she's demonically taken over. But something sinister is also brewing in the woods as well. On top of her mother just kind of being in this weird situation where there was a curse put on her or something.
Wonderful.
But it looks interesting as well, too. Has like a witchy sort of theme to it. So any witch fans out there?
Hey.
Yeah. That's on the 23rd.
All right, cool.
All right.
How do you say it again?
What? Pie Wacket?
Putty Wacket?
Pie Wacket? Yeah. Pyewacket. Yeah, Pie Wacket.
Sure. That's how we're going to say it today.
Yeah. So that's for March. I think there's some, possibilities and some good ones out there, so we'll see.
Happy March, y'all. Yeah, so it sounds like probably like The Strangers sequel is going to be the heavy hitter this month for March. There's no other horror movies coming out.
I don't think so.
How is Annihilation doing? Do you know?
I was just about to bring that up.
It's so funny.
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but it is next on my list, regardless what movie's coming out. Even though The Strangers is coming out this weekend, I still want to see Annihilation first. That movie didn't make nothing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I haven't been thinking about anything because of Black Panther. And then I just thought, how are the other movies doing?
Yeah, Game Night blew it out of the water. Like, there's just no competition.
But Annihilation's not making anything?
It's not making anything. No. It's not considered a flop just yet, but it wasn't even number 2.
It looks like such a good cast.
I know.
And it looks really good. I feel like it has been overshadowed.
Yeah.
Not overshadowed because Black Panther's fucking phenomenal and it deserves every penny. But I think it's just that competition because like even the things that came out right before Black Panther sort of like took a step back.
Even though this movie I don't think has anything to do with ghosts, this is like the female Ghostbusters right now. I mean, a crew of women just go into this dimension and see some really fucked up shit and have to deal with it. Like, I'm loving this, but I just haven't had time.
I need to see it.
Yeah, I'm going. I still
But A Wrinkle in Time's coming out this week.
Everything is coming out. That's why I'm just like,
too much. I can't do it. I can't do everything. I can't be everywhere.
I know.
And I still have to go see Black Panther again. So this is a problem. This is a big problem.
Okay, should we do nominations?
Let's just do it.
So we pulled our genre out of a hat, and International Horror won. And this category is not just Asian horror, And that's usually what you think of when you think international horror. But like UK, Australian, there's so many good and bad ones out there. So this was a big playing field that we could have picked from. But yeah, international horror is our theme for nominations at least. And it's just funny, we've been talking about international horror so far with, March releases. But yeah, which one should we start with?
Let's start with the bullshit.
Okay. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see your pick, so I'm hoping that you can describe it to me as in depth as possible.
I'll give you the highlights.
Okay, but I'll go first. I chose The Human Centipede. This is the Netherlands. Yes, there were some U.S. actors in it, but it was made in the Netherlands, and I am not feeling it. This movie was boring as shit, disgusting for no reason.
Pun intended.
It just took forever to get to the point. And I blame this on advertising. No one has ever thought of something like this, and it intrigued the shit out of me. But when you take
You're really throwing this word around, Rob. You're just like throwing it around.
I know. But when you take over an hour to get to the real deal, and leading up to that is just downright boring as shit. And first of all, who cares about anyone? Those girls, it's like, I don't care. And then you've got this dude who is speaking his ethnic language, but bother not to do subtitles for him. Did they do subtitles for him? I can't remember. Maybe they did.
Look, Rob.
It's been a while. I don't really care for it. I only watched it one time, and I fast forward through that shit. I didn't even watch it from start to finish.
Well, all right.
I was not feeling it.
Okay.
So when the shit hit me, like, when everything happened, I was like, okay, it was gross. I just felt bad for these people, and the ending seemed very realistic, but it was still very far-fetched with the cops showing up all last minute. It was just a boring film.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
All right. Well, I chose a little ditty called Long Time Dead, which the original title was Ouija. But they changed it. And I remember thinking, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie when it was in production on upcomingmovies.com or whatever it was. But then it didn't come out. And I didn't realize until years later, it was a British film. And that's why U.S. audiences didn't really see it. It was just sort of disappointing. So it is about a Ouija board, like the typical you accidentally summon an evil spirit from a Ouija board. And it was like a makeshift Ouija board that this group of like 8 friends, whatever the number is, they got like a bunch of pieces of paper together and a shot glass, and unbeknownst to them, one of the guys in their crew had a past. He grew up in this cult, and he was, so this entity comes forth immediately and starts telling them they're all going to die. And, they get freaked out. And, of course, his bitch ass is the first one to let go of the shot glass, and it releases the demon. Okay. This demon is called a jinn. Now, I feel like they have overused this creature in so many different movies. Like, the only movie I respect it in is Wishmaster. But everything else, it's like, okay, it's a fire demon, but, oh, God, just kidding. After that, it kind of, goes by the book. It's sort of like a slasher film.
Yeah, one by one.
Whodunit.
Yeah. Oh, it's a whodunit. Okay.
It is a whodunit. Okay. Because I don't know if they give it away. At first, you don't know that one of the people is possessed.
Oh, okay. So
and you find out at the
devil
end,
vibe then.
It's that this demon, this jinn, has possessed one of the friends.
Okay.
Because he was so susceptible. So I mean, they kill everyone, and it was just disappointing, I guess, because I remember like wanting to watch it, and I bought it at Amoeba because I found it randomly. I was like, oh, $4, can't beat that. And I was like,
so you already put in the barrel.
I went back to Amoeba and I said, I don't want this trash. And they said, okay, well, we can give you 50 cents for it. And I said, I'll take it. So yeah, and there's no stars in this movie really.
Yeah.
It's a British cast. I'm sure they're well known on the BBC, except for Marsha Thomason, who I don't see around anymore either. But she was the mom from the tragic Haunted Mansion Disney movie.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, nothing really spectacular about it, but it's my birthday month, and I'm doing this thing, Rob, where I'm like trying to not be selfish.
Oh, so this is are you saying you're...
No, this isn't a pity thing.
Okay.
I'm going to admit something to you.
Yes.
I have never, and I will never watch The Human Centipede, because I don't need to know whether or not it was 99 assholes that got eaten out or 100. I mean, it's neither here nor there for me.
Yeah.
So I'm good. And that's going to go in the Deadly DVD barrel, because Longtime Dead is already in the Deadly DVD barrel in my heart. So it's fine.
Okay.
I completely 100% agree with you.
Okay.
I don't really understand anything about that. And it had 2 sequels, so there's like a fucking trilogy.
It's just one of those things where you've got a mad scientist. I mean, why did people create the Frankenstein monster? I mean, who knows what goes on in these people's minds, but this guy wanted to see if it was scientifically and genetically possible to hook people together and share sort of that same sort of digestive tract and DNA, and can you still keep them alive? And he created this human centipede of 3 people. And then the sequels just got worse and worse. So the sequel I didn't watch, and I don't think I ever will. And it's funny because I've seen some horrible movies, but like I just have no interest as to what they plan to do. But the sequel was sort of meta, because the scientist who was in the first one, he comes back, I think, as a different character. But the sequel is about a man who wants to copy the movie Human Centipede. He was fascinated with what he saw, and he tried to make his own. And I think he went after a whole bunch of college kids or something.
Sorry, I dozed off.
But no, I heard the movie is gross. So it involves like this dude who looks like grotesque. I mean, they obviously picked this big heavyset guy to make it look like he's gross or whatever. Apparently there's a scene where he like jerks off with sandpaper. Yeah.
Stop. Okay, we're done.
It's horrible.
Pause.
It's so bad.
I can't.
Yeah.
I know someone who was in the Human Centipede 3.
Oh, really?
I mean, they were part of the Centipede. So
yeah.
They were eating somebody's ass.
It was a whole prison that was used. Every single prisoner. So it went to like, I mean, you saw the poster.
I saw the stupid poster.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So,
okay, all right. Human Centipede in the barrel.
I mean, I don't even think I can call that a horror movie. It's just gross.
It's just a gross movie. Yeah.
But yeah, gross.
Okay. So yeah, what about Hall of Fears? What you got?
So, for a minute, I was really struggling because I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've seen that many international horror films that I've really loved. Mm-hmm. But then I remembered I have seen some. And it was a tough choice. It actually was.
This was tough.
Even now, I'm like, oh my God,
which
one do I want?
And remember, this is not the best. This is one that we just want to honor and I want to highlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will honor Ginger Snaps 2.
Okay. Now, what country is this?
Canada.
Oh, it's Canadian horror. Oh, they're both. Okay, go on.
They're all Canadian.
Okay.
And while I do it instead of the first one because her journey was just so painful. Because in the first one, I mean, if you guys have seen Ginger Snaps, so Ginger is the older sister. She gets bit, and she's kind of like, I'm down. Let's do this. She's good to go with her transformation. She's embracing it. Bridget, the younger sister, who she gets scratched at the end of the first movie. She is trying to repress her change. And I just really love this story. I think werewolf movies are so few and far between, and they're not done well. And I think this one, it was almost like a different story from the different one. It wasn't like the same vibe, but it was just better for me.
Yeah.
She tried so hard to not let it take over. And then all the people around her, including, I can't think of her name right now. Her name was, I can't even think of her character's name. It was Ghost. Malala, it's her name. She's on Black Orphan. She's a great actress. But yeah.
Are you talking about? Oh,
it starts with the M.
Tatiana.
Yeah, Tatiana Maslany.
Maslany, yes.
Yes, I was like, it starts with the M. I know it.
Oh, Brendan Fletcher was in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just really. I don't know. I loved it. Like, what are you doing?
No, I'm just noticing more people in this movie.
Oh.
I saw this movie. I just don't remember it that well.
Oh.
I wish I had watched it another time.
So, I mean, she ends up in like a sort of like a home for girls. Like they're there for rehab and they're troubled and different things. And they think the same thing about her. They think that she's like on drugs because she keeps injecting herself with like monkhood or something. It's some sort of weird mushroom, and it helps to slow the process down. But you know, she has like a bunch of tracks in her arm. So meanwhile, there's a werewolf who has been stalking her because it wants to mate with her. Of course. So she's trying to like get out of that facility because she's like, the longer I stay here, the more that people are going to die, and it's going to like, and of course that's what happens, you know.
Yeah.
It creeps in. But then Tatiana's character, this little girl, ends up taking her back to her house, and she like, you find out that this little girl is crazy, and she set her grandma on fire.
Oh man, I don't remember this.
It was like, she made it look like an accident.
Okay.
Like her grandma was like smoking in the bed. No, she set that ass on fire, and that's why she was in that home, because she didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting, I think not Brendan Fletcher. She ends up getting the guy who was on Smallville. She ends up getting him killed because she lies about him.
That's who I noticed,
saying that he touched me, he did something to me, and so Bridget sends his ass outside to be eaten by the werewolves. Okay. And then she finds out later that she lied, and and then she gets locked in the basement, and she becomes her werewolf slave. So that's the gist of it. I don't know. It was really tragic, and I just really liked it.
So it seemed like you were drawn more to the character-driven part of the movie as opposed to the werewolf aspect?
No, the werewolf aspect is still really well done. And they don't really show the werewolf a lot. Yeah. Because it's all about her not changing and her trying. Like, you see, like, different parts of her body are starting to change, and her face looks really fucked up because she's just like, no, I don't want any part of this. And it's also an interesting sexual, I don't know what I was going to say, like metaphor for someone's sexual expression or lack thereof. Yeah. Because in the first movie, it was like she was suddenly like, she had her period and she was becoming a woman, and she was embracing womanhood, and she was like ready to date. And Bridget is like, no, I don't want any part of that. So, and I said this before, where I read this article and someone was like, she might be asexual, and that's kind of what her deal is. She's like, I don't want to do all of these things that everyone wants me to do. Yeah. So I just thought it was a great metaphor.
Okay, very good. Jesus, I didn't know which one to pick. There are so many good ones, and I feel that if I pick one, it means I don't like the others, and that's really not the case, because my go-to should be Train to Busan, and I actually want to pick that, but I've talked about it on here so much. It doesn't, like, I don't feel that it needs to be highlighted in our Hall of Fears, so I went with my second choice, which is The Orphanage.
You win.
The Orphanage. I love that movie so much, and Del Toro produced this, but it was actually done by a different gentleman. I just want to make sure I get his name right. Goodness, where did I put that? It's J.A. Boyana, I think his name is. I'll have to look it up. I had it, and now it's like, where am I? Hold on. So I want to make sure I get this guy right, because for the longest time I thought Guillermo del Toro directed this, but it actually wasn't him. He just helped with the producing of it. I swear I commented. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the script was written by Sergio G. Sanchez. This is 1996. and then he brought it to Bayana's in 2004, and then they go to Del Toro and they're like, look, can you help us with some seed money? Can you help produce? Blah, blah, blah. So his budget was doubled, and then they made this movie. Now, are you familiar with Jay Bayana?
No.
So let me just tell you just a couple of titles, because you've seen these, and he is actually pretty good. And the reason why I enjoyed this movie so much is because he brings on the drama with his horror. There's something to be said with the way he storytells. He did a Monster's Call. It's Liam Neeson and homegirl who was in, I forget her name. She was in The Theory of Everything, and she played in another movie.
Oh, was she in Rogue One?
Yes, that's her. So this little boy, his mom has cancer, she's dying, and he uses the imagination of this monster, and the monster like teaches him lessons and stuff, and Liam Neeson's the voice. Have you heard of this?
I
so
feel like
good.
I have.
So good. I think it got nominated for like art or some or
Is it a big monster?
Yeah, it's a huge wooden one.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did that. He directed that, and then he did Penny Dreadful, the series.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And
well, he's definitely got he definitely has like a look, I think.
Yes,
up to his work. It's
yes, he does, and he even did a Spanish spoof movie called Spanish Movie. You know how there's like another teen movie and date me? Yeah, he did that.
That's really funny.
Yeah, but I really liked his storytelling in this one. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, it's about a woman who takes her husband and son to this orphanage, and she wants to rebuild it to have troubled kids come in. And a lot of things were happening in this film. Like, there was this woman who kept stalking them and trying to like get in and get into like certain parts of the orphanage, and they kind of scared her away, but it turned out that she used to work at this orphanage, mm-hmm. and that she pulled a Pamela Voorhees on the kids and poisoned all of them in their meals
because they were mean to her. They were
mean to her kid, which is the predominant ghost of this film. If you look at a poster, it's this little boy with a scary like straw mask on, and basically he used the mask to cover his face because it was deformed a little bit. But they would make fun of him, and the kids took his mask, mm-hmm. and so he felt embarrassed with his look, and he went to hide in his special hiding place, which was this cave that after a while the tide comes in and drowned him. Mm-hmm. He refused to come out and be ridiculed, and he drowned instead. So again, I don't want to say too much because that was a really big spoiler right there, but this movie has mystery to it because a child goes missing throughout this film, and it's like, where's the kid? Who took them? And what's up with these ghosts? Why are they haunting me? And this and this. And this woman finds out about her past. Like, it's just a well-made story, and mm-hmm. had a really good twist, and it ended beautifully, mm-hmm. I thought. And there were some scares. I think she was playing like peekaboo or something, or some kind of game that the kids at the orphanage would they would tap or something, and so she would look, and then she'd turn away, and the kids kept getting close. Oh my God, there's some creepy stuff. But I love this film. I just think it's really good, and the subtitles aren't distracting or anything. Yeah. So gosh,
such a good movie. Yeah,
such a good one.
Look at that, Rob.
I know. I got one.
Ding, ding, ding.
I got it closed up with some international. Oh.
Rob got it this month, y'all.
Yeah. But this did give me the ambition to not only revisit some of these internationals that I've seen, but also watch some new ones. And later this month, we actually are going to focus on some international horrors out there. And we actually have a special guest who loves this genre. He's going to give us his favorites of what he likes and recommends. Mm-hmm. And I hope if you guys are listening to this by week, to watch some movies in this category and tweet us, hit us up on Instagram, and let us know of some of your favorites that you like, and we'll read off some of your favorites and highlight some that we haven't seen, or actually give us some recommendations that we should talk about. I think in 2 episodes we'll talk about this, and yeah, so I'm excited. And I do like international horror, and I think they should be featured more on the big screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would probably help us out to see a lot of international films outside of the drama market, because I think whenever we watch the Academy Awards, there's always a lot of dramatic foreign films that we see.
Yeah.
But we don't see enough foreign horror films because they always remake them.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I mean, that's the other thing. We feel compelled to just remake it so it can appeal to U.S. audience. And I totally understand that from a business point, but I'm telling you, these originals, if you were to release like Ringu and Grudge, like if those were Juon, I'm sorry, I should say Juon, if they were released in theater, I think they would be super effective.
I mean, and Juon, I guess I don't mind so much because he directed all of the same director did the originals
and
the remakes
in the remake as well.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the same.
So
kid.
I mean, so I kind of feel okay with those since it was the same director, but yeah, you know,
there's something about their cinematography, I think, too, that separates them from the U.S. and that could be a good thing. It's just, I don't know, they just have more of a creepy setting to give you. So yeah. All right. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Is there anything else?
I guess we'll talk about the other one next week.
Yes. Let's talk about the other one next week, because I want to go into it a little bit more. Next week, we're going to bring up our experience on going to a Los Angeles horror movie premiere of the movie The Lullaby. I've never been to one, but I was invited, and yeah, we'd like to share our experience on going to this. And
I just tagged along and got drunk.
But yeah, so we're gonna bring that up next week. Something to look forward to. Yeah, so I think we're good.
Nice. You got a bitch, really?
If
you don't, that's okay.
Do not, because I really tried to think of one that's good, but I couldn't think of one that was really good.
Okay.
I figured you'd have one from your worst movie.
I mean, sure.
Oh, I wish I could think of.
What is it?
I watched the remake of Cabin Fever.
They remade it?
Yeah, this is 2016. I actually recognized a couple of stars from it.
They remade it?
But it was pretty much the same thing, and the director even came to the campfire, just like Eli did.
Cute.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But I'm just trying to think, what dumb moment was in there?
Well, I can think of a dumb moment from the original.
Do it. Let's just do Cabin Fever.
Okay. That's so funny.
Yeah,
so Cabin Fever, they know by now, like, some shit's wrong because Homegirl is in the other room and her face is, like, slowly being eaten away. And Serena Vincent is in the bathtub shaving. And it's a very cringeworthy moment, but she shaves her leg. One strip of skin comes off. And then she proceeds to shave another. And another. Like, she gets like 3 or 4 good strokes off of her leg. And she's like crying about it. But I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then she hysterically runs outside and gets eaten by a fucking wild dog.
Yeah.
Bitch, really? Like,
she was over it.
I mean, I guess she was over it. But that whole moment of her just, like, multiple times you gotta shave your leg, like, you saw the one strip. I don't know, like, what...
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I watched the remake, and yeah, they did the exact same thing. She basically had given up. She was done. She was like, we might as well just go out fucking. And so she does home dude, and then she's shaving. And of course, he can't come back quick enough to tell her it's in the water. But you got, like, what kind? That's some kind of virus where you can't even feel your skin coming off. That's because she didn't notice. I don't think she really felt.
Noticed.
But she was just like, why is this happening? And she keeps doing it. But when she meets up with the dog, she's like, fuck it, come get like, oh, you know, she just like, it's done.
Oh, I don't remember her acting like that.
In the remake, she was like, bitch, come at me.
The remake, no. Yeah. In the original, she was
like terrified.
Terrified, and she was trying to get away.
She couldn't walk, could she? Was she like stumbling?
She could walk. She was in her little robe. She was fine.
Oh, this one came out naked.
No.
In the remake.
It's funny because Serena Vincent, she is naked a lot.
Yeah.
But she was not naked in this scene.
Oh,
no.
That's funny. Yeah, that was a little dumb move of her because, it's all over you. You feel like it's too late, but come on now.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like that was done more for like just the gore effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. No, I get it. Ugh. Nasty movie. Nasty.
All right. Well, as I said, it's 10 days until my birthday. I'll think of what I want.
Yes. Next week, I'm left in the dark. I have no idea what we're doing. So tune in for a surprise topic.
Surprise
who knows?
This
episode could go anywhere, but
could go anywhere.
You leave it to the full, and that's what happens.
It could go, we could just talk about Leprechaun in space the whole day. We're not going to do that. I promise.
Okay.
Also, I don't know the actor's name, but the one who plays the father in Train to Busan.
Go ahead, say it.
He is like the snackiest snack I've ever seen.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Beautiful. Like, I knew you could have said heroic. You could have said great actor. I was like, no, he is fine as fuck is what he is. That is daddy-licious. Yeah, he was, oh yeah, in that suit the whole time. I was like, yes.
Like they were
buy
running.
Buy me a wee, please.
Like they were running.
I'll take
and
the second one.
His jacket came up and I was like,
yeah,
he
a fine piece.
Nice.
He a fine piece. I love him.
So,
yeah. And I want to say, did I bring him up in that like objectifying episode?
We didn't objectify anyone, Rob. We'd had some commentary on some attractive men in horror films. There's not a big deal. But yeah, I think you did. Pretty sure. Yeah, he's delicious.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. We got a train to catch, so we'll catch you next time on Bitch I Ain't Scared.